Welcome back, everybody, to another episode on the Bout Du Monde. We have just finished windrowing, and I picked up this wagon, or this field of the forage wagon. We're going to dump it in the silo pit, the other silo pit there at the farm. But first, let's get to windrowing over here. Oh, let's turn off Fritz. We'll hop in Jackie, and we will windrow this other field, which is field number 2. So 3 is done. We've mowed and collected 18. I figure 25 and 32 will be bales, or maybe if this doesn't fill up the silo pit very much, maybe we'll mow 25 and then we'll do bales on 32. Anyway, I will discuss... Oops, am I hitting something? Oh, depth perception. That's... I could have sworn I was to the left of that fence post. Apparently, I was not. Alright, we will start setting this up, then I will explain what I was doing. Okay, the windrower is unfolded. I didn't want to start it then anyway. The first pass, we will make it along, not along the outside, about 1 width away from the outside. Actually, I take it back. We'll go along the outside. This is not the proper way to do it, but I think, for me, it's a decent mix of... you know, I didn't mow that close to the fence. Typically, you do the other way. Typically, this is like the last row in the field from what I have read. Because then if you accidentally hit the fence, at least the field is done. But we're going to do it first because I think I like to collect the outside spot first. As long as the... I mean, since the loading wagon is here, then it just makes it easier when you go the long rows. You don't have to pick up the windrower. You can just make a turn, and you're not windrowing the end rows since the end rows are already picked up. Anyway, I'll explain the passage of time here. Basically, I had been having hardware issues, and I think I finally figured them out. So with my new computer, I'm deciding to use Shadow Play. I was using OBS in the past, and you know, getting used to the Shadow Play settings. I mean, actually there's not a lot of settings, but what I did not realize is that Shadow Play by default, it does dynamic scaling resolution. So it was actually scaling the resolution of this game, and it was outputting it at I think it's higher than 1440p. I think it's a 4K resolution. And then, you know, I would actually play at 4K and it would record at 4K, but then it would scale it down to 1440p, the native monitor's resolution. The problem with that is, with the GTX 1080, it is a great 1440p card. From everything that I've read, to get 4K results, 60 frames at 4K, I really should have bought the Ti instead of just the original 1080. The 1080 is what I had before, so I kind of stuck with it. You know, it's a shame. You know, as soon as I clicked the button, the Ti was only a couple $100 more. If I'm already spending $600, what's another $200? So I kind of regret that purchase, but when I bought it, I was like, no, I got a 1440p monitor. I don't need 4K. Well, turns out you can always have more, right? So I have corrected that resolution to 1440p. I actually did a video test, and to be honest, I did not notice a difference in resolution. Dashy. My dog just let himself in the room. I did not notice a difference between... Yeah, my dog could open up doors. I had that door closed for recording, and he likes to open up the door. That's okay, though. He's a good puppy. As I was saying, I did a test with the dynamic scaled resolution at 4K reduced to 1440p, and then just recording at 1440p, what I'm doing now. And to be honest, I could not tell a difference, so we'll just do this since my computer can easily handle it. It's, you know what, I think I said in the last video episode, I showed you the specs of my monitor, and it is a 27-inch and 1440p native resolution. And to get, you know, to push that many frames, it requires a 1080. To push even more, not frames, polygons, to to get that resolution of the 4K, it takes a stupid amount of power. So I decided to not do that because my graphics card just couldn't handle it. But I wanted to keep the frame rate up there in the top left just to make sure that that was indeed my problem. I also found out that so I was so excited to build my computer, I didn't have all the parts. I didn't have a CD-ROM drive or DVD, you know, etc. So I just went to the Asus website and downloaded the drivers there. And I must have missed the Intel chipset driver because when I popped in the CED to check that, it said that I did not have a driver installed for that. So that should significantly help our, you know, reduction of problems as well. So now that that's out of the way, I do apologize for all those technical difficulties. I hate having to, you know, just skip. I mean, for you guys, it's basically like I skip forward through time, and you're coming in later in an episode, and you don't really know the past of what I have done. So I hate doing that, but it had to be done. Oh my. You know, I gotta get used to the weight of the more realistic mod. You think I'd be used to it by now. The brakes aren't good enough. I had my foot on the brake there, but I just picked up a little bit too much speed. I couldn't stop in time. So we'll pretend that didn't happen because otherwise the one road would be busted. Or at least have to replace one of those rakes, which, you know, technically isn't really busted, but... Alright, I'm not sure the best way to do this, but we will not hit the fence. Let's just try it like this. Alright? Now let's go from inside the cab. I think it's a little bit easier. If I remember correctly, just keep the front left tire basically at the edge of the windrow, and that should give us a pretty good distance if the rake was down, but the rake was not down. So let's try it again. Take two. Here we go. Anyway, as I was saying, my hardware problems, software problems should all be fixed now. So we should be able to enjoy 1440p resolution at 60 hertz now. And it looks like that frame rate's been rock solid up there. So I think that was the problem. Probably both of them. Probably more so the high resolution than the chipset, because my processor load was like at 20 to 30% with the i7 overclocked that I have. So I don't know if that was necessarily the problem, but it definitely didn't help. So what else are we doing? So I have picked up that other field with the forage wagon, field 3. So that field is done. And yeah, like I said, I think we're going to do field 32 with bales. We'll basically have to go right into that. Once the corn germinates, we need to weed the corn, but right now we cannot weed it because, oh man, I need to wash off Fritz. Right now we cannot weed it because it hasn't germinated yet, so there's nothing to weed. And I really hate calling it a weeder. I'll go into that when we run those episodes showing me weeding. Basically, it's not really a weeder, and I'll explain why. Alright, so let's actually back up Jackie a little bit here, and I'll go off the end there just a little bit, just so I don't hit anything with Fritz. Let's hop into Fritz, and this is, I'm not sure if this is the right way, but I think this is the easiest way that I figured out how to do it. I probably wouldn't do it this way if Fritz was far away, but since Fritz is right next door, we're gonna hop in here, and we're gonna pick up this row. And the reason I'm doing this is, I think I already explained, to make turning around just a little bit easier. So I think we're gonna miss that. Let's just make a wide turn and go around again. And we'll hit that now. There we go. So something else I did was, you may notice that the Decker quick glance, I fixed it so it does not, you know, it used to stutter whenever I looked behind me or to the right, because there were actually two inputs bound to the same key, the look right, just with the vanilla look right, which caused you to move the camera whenever you press the key bindings, the arrow keys there. And then there was also the Decker bind, so it would like look down for a split second and then it would look behind you instead of looking straight behind you. So I basically unbound the default keys because I never used them anyway with the arrow keys. So now with the Decker quick glance, whenever I look behind me, it just goes instantly behind me. So that is much better. And also, the right and left keys, instead of turn 45 degrees, I made it a peak. Whoops. I'm talking and we're not even going to get all the way around. Should have probably dumped this before. Oh well. So yeah, instead of turn 45 and leave it when you let go of the key, I've just made it it's like a peak. I think the command's called peak right, peak left. So that's great for looking in traffic, looking behind you, looking to make sure you're not hitting a fence. You know, you can check the width of things without having to always refocus. So I think that's great. Like here, for example, make sure we don't hit the fence. I think we're good. All right. Let's get a little bit more scenic view there as I run over the flowers. Okay, yeah, that's not working. We'll go inside the cab there. Slow down a little bit because this is awful bumpy. I saw someone on the forums comment about the they were talking about how four-wheel drive is unrealistic to always have that on when you're driving on the road, but basically it doesn't cause a penalty, so they leave it on all the time anyway. I feel, I've actually never driven a four-wheel drive tractor, so I can't comment to that, but I feel the same way about differentials, where when, you know, when you're in the field, typically you have the rear differentials locked to help you, you know, so that way one tire doesn't spin, and they spin together. It helps you improve friction a lot in the field in real life. But the problem is you do not turn because the rear wheels are moving at the same speed. So in real life, when you try that, like, it happens a lot. I don't know if modern tractors probably automatically disengage the differential when they get to an end of a field. I'm sure that's built in somehow, because with our tractor, it's like a mechanical lever that you have to push down right in between the clutch and the right and left brake. So when the differential is on and you forget that it was on, and you get to the end of a row and you start to turn to, you know, turn around and head back the other way, the tractor barely turns, and you just basically end up throwing a lot of dirt with the front wheels, because the rear wheels are locked at the same revolution speed, so it basically doesn't turn. So that's actually something that I would love to see, but obviously that would probably take a lot more coding. It's actually something I don't understand. I mean, if the physics are correct and the left and right rear actually does turn at different rates, and locking the differential locks them in the game, then I'm not sure what's wrong with the physics, why turning, so like right now, the differential is engaged, right? So how can I turn to the right that easily? In real life, if you have the rear differentials engaged, that would not happen. Especially if you have front differentials as well in all-wheel drive, and the front differentials were also locked at the same together. You know, that would be... that would not happen. So, whoa! Kinda started slipping and sliding there with the hill. Got a little bit too much speed. And where did we start? I think we started there going the other way, so we'll head on in this way. I think this will just help us. We actually wouldn't need to get this row over here, but we'll just do it anyway. So that's where we left off. I think this will help us make the turns a lot easier without having to worry about pick up the windrower at the end of each row. It's what I'm gonna do, at least. And if that's not enough, we might need excuse me, we might need another end row done tedded, but I think, not tedded, wind road. I think that's fine. We'll just park it over here, maybe to the right somewhere, a little bit out of the way, and turn it off. Switch back to Jackie. Jackie is incredibly dirty. Actually, do I want to turn that on? Where am I in the field? Up here in this corner. That's right. So I want to go over to this side. It's really hard to see those rows with this grass texture, but I think we'll just start right there. And instead of trying to continuously make this rounded, I think... Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. I don't want to push it that way. I wanted to start on the other side of the field. You know, whoops, I thought I was going forward. Alright. I came over to this side because I thought I was on the wrong side for heading to the... What direction is that? Heading to the west. But I was actually on the right side of the field. Alright. Now let's try it again. Alright, the rake is lowered. We're good to go. We're good to go, guys. And that frame rate has not dipped at all. I think we're pretty good. You know, it's almost like I didn't mow anything based on... Did I leave this here overnight? It's almost like there's nothing on the ground. Wow. That's ridiculous. I think we'll just mow in a few circles, or rake in a few circles here. I don't think there's barely anything there. I think we'll just be able to keep pushing that to the left. Look at that. There's nothing. I'm not even raking anything. It felt like there was a lot more in the other field than this. Still don't even feel like there's any grass. Wow. Alright. While I'm doing this, I should maybe try to get a better view. I've decided that, you know, basically what I've been doing is I typically skip like trips to the store, but this field is, I mean, the fields are small enough on this map that I think it's more fun to, I think it's more fun to, hold on, let me finish a thought for once. I think it's more fun if I don't actually skip things, I don't do a time lapse, and I just keep, you know, I basically keep recording every field. I know, you know, I've actually done a lot of, it's actually hard to do a stream when you never have done one before, not a stream, a recording, because, you know, there's certain things you try to do and don't do when you're on camera, and I try to make it as realistic as possible and also an enjoyable experience. I know from watching Dagger, it seems like, you know, I've taken some notes from him. It seems like he does some time-lapse videos. In one of his recent videos, he actually says he doesn't like just editing things out because it makes it like you haven't really watched and you just come back and you miss a whole lot. And I can definitely relate to that. So the times, but I actually don't really like time-lapse videos because I think they're kind of ugly. I'd rather have, personally, I don't know, what do you guys think? I would rather have a few minutes of me not talking with looking at the beautiful scenery at realistic driving speeds, and, you know, then cutting to basically when I'm done near the end of the field. Hold on, let's do that, and oops. O is the hotkey. There we go. So, speaking of nice scenery, so I would rather have a few episodes, you know, or a few minutes of this, without me talking, or maybe me talking, I don't know. I don't even know if anybody listens to me when I talk. But I'd rather do a few episodes like that, or not, I keep saying episodes, a few minutes of footage like that, where it's just some really good views at normal speed, and then basically cut to the end where, you got the last couple rows to finish up the field. Instead of a time lapse where it shows the tractor going really fast, and I mean, even though it's not really going fast, the time lapse, it almost makes it more of a comedy, and it doesn't feel realistic to me. But you guys might feel something different, so let me know what you like. If you like, I know, for example, Dagger, he even, okay, we can engage again, put the left wheel on the edge of the row, and that should be good. I know Dagger, he actually does a lot of his work off screen, and I don't know, it's almost like, Harry, please don't take this as a critique, but it's almost like his contradictory statements where he says that he doesn't just like starting the field and then cutting to the end, because it gives you the appearance that it skips a whole bunch for the viewer. But then he also does a lot of work off screen, which is kind of the same thing. So instead, I think the way that I like to do it is do all my work on screen, and then when I'm editing, if there's some time in the middle of a field where I'm not talking or I don't have anything to say, which is rare, but these fields are small, so whatever. But if there's time like that, dead time, I'll maybe show like a few minutes of footage like this without me talking, and just because I don't know, it looks beautiful to me, just watching the tractor go along the field, nice and perfect, and I don't know. It's what I like to watch. I'm actually thinking of doing another series called FS17 screensavers, and just have the whole episode, I'm not talking, I'm just recording me playing the game, and you could throw it up there as a screensaver when you're working and you just want some tractor noises. You don't have to have the volume up even, it just has some beautiful tractors, and I think that might be a fun little, fun. I also think that, I don't know where, I guess I'll just keep doing this. I was originally going to stop. The reason I picked up those end rows is I was going to stop and go east to west on the field. Instead, I just keep going in circles, so really we didn't have to pick up anything. But all right, actually, I take it back. We're gonna pick up that row on the outside, and then we're gonna, let's just keep going in circles. We'll keep going in circles. Sorry, I keep changing my mind. Alright, anyway, I do want to know what you guys think about that. Basically, should I keep doing what I've been doing, which is record most stuff and then kind of cut to the end of a field, skip, some of the stuff in the middle? Or if I should do time-lapse videos. I don't know, I feel like they have their own place, but I don't really like time-lapses on MR, so I don't think I'll do those unless there's an overwhelming response for people that want time lapses. I mean, there's a few guys that all they do are time lapse videos, so I think if that's your kind of thing, then you're gonna watch another channel anyway. Let's get rid of that so I can actually see what I'm doing. And I think I just missed a whole bunch. Is it just me, or this grass, either I can't see it or there's really not that much here? I'm scared it means there's just not that much here. Maybe I cut the grass a little bit too early. Maybe that's what that means. Regardless, Jackie's really dirty there, so we'll keep the view outside as much as possible so you don't have to stare at an ugly tractor. I mean, honestly, anything's realistic. Third-person view's unrealistic, so there's a lot of things that you could say are unrealistic. But for the sake of the game, I think that I don't like the idea of time-lapse videos. Especially with MR. It just kind of... it makes it seem fake. I don't know, that's my opinion. And I probably won't do them anyway, but I would still like to know what you guys think about that. Alright, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I was kind of... I guess we're going this way. Alright. And, you know, making that turn is kind of hard. Okay, we're going to stop that. Okay, after this, we're gonna go east to west. Which actually means I need to pick up another row with Fritz. Yeah, I don't think there's very much grass here. Look at that, that's not that much height. Alright. We will stop here. I probably should have turned it off first. Do a little back and forth action. Make sure the pickup is lowered. I made that mistake more than once. Let's go around the outside here and pick this up. Make sure I'm actually picking up something. Actually, let's keep that on for a little bit so we can get a good gauge. Now, this is actually several windrows thick, but it is picking up at a decent pace. I don't know. It just feels like there's not very much. It feels like there's not very much here in this field. All right, where is that row? Starts about there. Going a little wide, make sure we catch it. Yeah, and this is like 3 or 4 windrows combined, I think, out here on this side. We'll get a good comparison because right there on the left, that inside row, that one I believe is only one pass, you know, down and back. So that should give us a good gauge about how much we are actually collecting from this field. So we'll see how much that is. All right. Yeah, the frame rate is solid at 60. I'll remove that for future episodes, but it gives me the warm fuzzy that all my problems are indeed solved. So I'd like to keep it up there for the rest of this filming. You know, off screen, the footage I'm not going to show you, I kind of first started to know that, you know, the frame rate dipped to 40, and it took me a little while to notice it. I only noticed when I was turning, and then I was like, is there motion blurring? Because it didn't feel like the tractor was stuttering, but I did notice that the bushes in the distance and the trees when I was turning, they looked blurry, and I knew that that was not normal. So I decided to, you know, investigate a little bit more, and that's when I found, like, oh no, I've had, you know, frame rate issues, and in some cases the video footage was even a lot worse than what you know, it was a lot worse than 30 or 40. I think it dipped to maybe 20 once. That just must be a tough spot on the map where my card couldn't keep up, but it definitely seems to be keeping up now. So 60 frames per second at 1440p is what we will be doing. No dynamic scaling. That's okay. Alright, so now we are going to... let's see. I guess I'll start on this end. Yeah, that's right. I was trying to think which end do I need to start on. I do need to start on this end. Alright. Alright, about there. I can't even see where the... There it is. It just, you can't even see where the grass is. It's hard to see the edge there. That's a pretty view. I really like this map. I'm happy I found it. I almost didn't test it. I almost just overlooked it and started recording on Moon Castle, which is that was my second favorite map of the mod contest. But I found this one and I fell in love. There were a few other good ones that I liked. Anyway, let's talk about another map that I cannot pronounce called Gorial. I'm not sure how to say it, but it is the map that I'm going to be doing. We're still going to keep this series, but we are also going to be running a map. Well, I am going to be running a map. The I'm going to be doing it with a guy by the name of Sittin' Here, who runs a YouTube channel called Sittin' Here Productions. I met him on FSUK website when I was looking for testers for my map back when I thought I was going to release it for 15. So he did a bunch of testing on a map that was not released, unfortunately. But it did help me with the conversion. There was some stuff that I had to fix that I knew about, so it's not like it went to waste. But anyway, that's how I knew him, and we're starting a series together where we're going to be playing on a dedicated server, and we're kind of gonna, I don't know, ideally it'd be half and half, but realistically, things never work out that way. So who knows who's going to be doing more work on that server. I'm going to maintain this schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I'm going to fit in that map whenever I have time in the middle. So that might be Tuesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. It might just be Saturday. It might not be any days in the week. I'm not sure. It just depends on real life. So we will most of the time be separate. So, but we're going to be uploading videos and we're going to put them on the same playlist. So we'll share that playlist on both of our channels. And so that way users can watch the stuff that I'm doing and then they'll watch the stuff that he's doing. And so it'll kind of be like, yeah, we're not always there together. We'll probably rarely be there together based on his... he typically games after 10 p.m. and when I am home, I typically do not game at that time. So it's just a little bit late for my wife. And she's a light sleeper and I can't go to bed. I have to go to bed with her. I know that sounds bad, but it's actually a really good thing for a good, healthy marriage. Go into bed at the same time. But it's surprising how many couples don't do that. But whatever works for you. But that is my situation. So we'll try to coordinate times like harvest and things like that. But most of the time it's going to be, us just recording separately. And then we're going to catalog and date them so that you'll easily know the game time that elapsed based on the title of the episode. And I think that's going to be a fun little series. I'm actually really excited about it. I actually, in some ways, I almost wanted to stop recording this one just so I could focus only on that one. That's how much fun I think it will be. I got the idea because as much fun as this is, it really brings the world to life when you have another player on the map, another human on the map. Putting these videos out on YouTube has made single player enjoyable. I would never be playing single player without YouTube just because it's boring, but YouTube helps me connect and it makes me feel like there's other people that share this fun little story, even if lost my train of thought. Anyway, the point is, it's just not as good as having another human there. Even if I never see the human, if I log on and see like, okay, well, he took care of the cows, now I just gotta make sure the fields are weeded, or it's also fun collaborating. I like thinking about things and analyzing, and so it's like, hey, can you, we need to cultivate this field, can you do that? And then I'll plant it later today, or I don't know. I'm not really sure how it's worked, but that's kind of the rough idea. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then hopefully we'll get some episodes where we are together. We even talked about doing some picture-in-picture. Actually, that's all, I think that corner's all done now. We talked about even doing some picture-in-picture, so if, like, you know, it comes harvest time and I'm running the combine, you know, I could be big screen and he could run the semis and he could be small screen, so you get us unloading together there or whatever. But that kind of remains to be seen how all that is going to work. We might do picture-in-picture, we might just both upload different videos for the same elapsed time. I don't know, I think picture-in-picture would be cool. But then again, it's also a lot of work to get them synchronized and audio and... Well, how would the audio work there? My game... I could actually... So, to make it easiest on his editing, if I'm the smaller pitcher in the picture-in-picture, I could actually just turn off my sound, because I have the ability with my virtual mixer. I can turn off I can send it to my headphones, but still not record it. So I could record it silently, but I could still record my voice because that's recorded by a separate channel. And then I could send him a video of me playing and my voice. So that way it would still have, oh no, actually I wouldn't want to record my voice, because depending on his setup, if he records his voice, my voice, and his sound, then basically I need to send him a file without any sound, just video. It depends on his recording setup, if he can or cannot turn that off. I like to record everything separate because it just makes editing so much easier. So many times I have had to try to catch, you know, like I filmed 2 hours of footage and then I realize, oh no, that's way too long and there's no good spot to cut that, and there's no good spot to compress it by editing out a chunk in the middle, so I need to make a break here for a new episode. And then I'd have to figure out, like, okay, the tractor's idling here, so I can just loop the idle and loop the video. But if you're not idling, it's impossible to edit that out. The tractor's making different noises and the environment's making different noises. And I think I talked about that in my last video. I can't remember if that was a video that didn't work out quite as best, or if I got rid of that or not. Anyway, so that map should start today or tomorrow. We were going to try to get together and do a staggered, we were going to try to get together and do, you know, an opening series together where we decide on the fields and equipment, but instead, it's just our schedules are a little bit too far apart, so we decided to do a stagger start. So one of us is going to start, buy a few things, and, you know, start working, and then basically we'll turn it over to the other person. We are going to be starting with $3 million. I typically never start with the default equipment. I really think it's a lot of fun to sell everything, sell all the fields, and give yourself X amount of money. Depending on the size of the map, I typically like 3 million, because if you're buying fields, that goes really fast. You know, it's easily down to 1.5 million by the time you've bought enough fields. And, you know, I mean, once you're at 1 million, you buy a combine and there goes half your money. So the money does not go very far. You know, you buy another tractor and then there goes another half of your money, or a quarter of your money, and so it goes really fast, especially if you're starting with animals, because buying all of the baling equipment and animals and livestock mixers, etc., is very pricey. So The other note is we debated over whether leaving it paused when empty or just continuously running, and we decided to leave it paused when empty just because I think it will generate less pressure. You know, we want it to be low-key. We both have real life, we both have our own streaming schedules, so we want to keep it as low-key and low pressure as possible, so we will be pausing it when empty. But I'll talk all about those settings for that new series whenever I start that video. Actually, let's unfold this. And let's just take it home. It needs a wash. I couldn't decide whether or not to take it home or take it to the other field, and the last second I decided to take it home. Alright, but let's go home. Homeward bound. We will finish picking up the rest of that field in the loading wagon. Man, this is bumpy. We'll finish picking up the rest of that field in the loading wagon. We'll drop that at the silo pit, and then hopefully we'll finally be able to use our beautiful bale trailer there. Something else I wanted to do is I did a more realistic edit of the... Man, that's just bumpy. I did a more realistic edit of the Brogan animal trailer. So I want to sell our current one because it's made for a semi, and I want some weight on the back of a tractor because that's the problem we had last time. So here's what we're going to do. I was talking, I forgot to wash it off, so we're going to do a little compacting while I 1% compacted. Look at that. While I go back around here to wash off the tractor. Man, that's dirt. It's amazing how dirty it gets from grass, right? I'm not sure how realistic that is. Grass typically doesn't make it that dirty. Well, I say that, but then again, I don't know anything about grass work, so maybe it does make it that dirty. I would assume it'd make it dirty, but probably a different type of dirty, you know, not brown. It's been working in a field. It probably has that, you know, like when you go to clean out the bottom of your mower deck, that has that green, you know, kind of wet looking grass where it sticks on the edge of things and stuff. I don't know, that is my guess. I don't know anything because I'm not a grass farmer. Should we try backing up? Let's try backing up through. Let's get up over there. You got it, Jackie. Oh, almost stopped. Alright, let's just throw this. We're going to need it before we mow, so we'll just throw it right here. How's that sound? I think it sounds good. Thanks, Jackie. I'm glad you agree with me, Jackie. You're welcome. Alright. I think we're done with Jackie for a little while. Right? Yeah. We'll switch back to Fritz, finish picking up, and we almost have a full load. Maybe should we leave? I was debating whether or not to blanket. Oh, a little bit over there too. I think I missed that whole row. Yeah, let's get that. I was debating whether or not to leave this unblanketed and try to see if we can get more from another field first. I think we can afford to do that. I'm not actually sure. Does grass rot? I know if you just, with the Seasons mod, if you leave it uncovered or, you know, on the ground, it'll decay. I'm not sure what happens if it's in a silo pit. I think I left a little bit there. I think I got it. Alright. Now, let's get over here and pick up one of these rows. And hopefully it picks up a decent amount. Whoop. Trying to make sure we're on it. Did I miss some there? No, we got it. Alright. Worried too much about giving you guys a good view, and instead I miss some. I will probably alternate rows just to make it an easier turn, quicker turn. Oh wow, even this is a lot of weight. Even Fritz is struggling a little bit up that hill. It is. Wet grass probably weighs quite a bit. I don't think we'll be able to make it down and back again, and I think we'll be able to make the rest all on one load. So we'll just cut across this pasture. It's nice and smoother. It's already cut. It's probably, actually, we shouldn't do this in the future. Unnecessarily compacts the grass. Alright, let's throw this out, and I know that it took forever to compact the silage before. Is that so? Here's where maybe someone can help me out. Is that what a leveler is for? Does that help you compact the silage even faster? I don't know anything about grass or compacting or silo pits. I don't know anything about this kind of stuff. So if someone can help me out, that would probably be appreciated. I mean, it would be appreciated. Why isn't it going? Thought it's... Oh, that's right. You have to do Control I. Even though it's in a pit. That's right. I thought since it was in a pit, it recognized it was in a pit, and you didn't have to do Control I, but I think you still have to. So let's try to actually compact it while we are dumping. Get it a little bit. Uh-oh. Maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe it was a bad idea. Okay, we got it, guys. We're almost out. All right, let's go. Let's just go through it again, actually. Make a wide turn so we don't hit. And hit that compaction. 10%. I think in real life, at least it would make sense that you would want to compact it, like not all at once. You'd want to compact it, you know, I'd want to compact that to 100%, and then I would want to dump more, compact that 100%. It would make sense that that would be a lot easier and or better than waiting until it's all the way full and then doing it at the end. But yeah, since I don't really know, I should really drive from inside the cab. Since I don't really know anything about grass in real life, please help me out there. Is that what a leveler is for? I've seen some mods that help you, like the rower system, that help you, I think, help you compact faster. I don't really know anything about that kind of stuff. I am just a corn and soybeans farmer. I know a lot about soil. Alright, we'll finish grabbing this. And I think that should be about enough footage for one episode. So, I will try to get this uploaded as soon as possible. The Monday episode was actually, by the time it was processed, it was actually uploaded, I think. The upload was started before Monday night ended, but I think by the time it actually finished processing, it took an hour and a half to 2 hours to upload, and then it took, how long did it take? It took a couple hours to process. It was a long time. It's, you know, obviously it processes the lower quality resolutions first, and, you know, you could watch a video at, what is that, 380 or 320 resolution. You could watch something like that almost right away, but by the time it got to 1440p, it was well past midnight, so it was actually Tuesday. But we'll get this up there on today, and hopefully the corn will germinate one of these days. Soil temperature is still pretty low. I'm not sure, is this the same soil temperature as it was yesterday? It doesn't seem to be raising, even though the temperature's up to what's the forecast? Oops. There we go. It's supposed to get up to 68 today. It's currently 59. That's actually something I've never been... I think 59 is the current air temperature, and 46 is the soil temperature. I think I have that right. I've actually never paid attention enough to learn that. I think 56 is the current air temperature, and then 68 was the high for today, or the supposed high. But we all know how bad these weathermen are, so that could be wrong. Let's get there. We go. Yeah, I don't think we'll have any problem fitting all of this on one wagon. It is unfortunate, so this is what, by the time I'm full, because I already had almost a full wagon by the time I started, so this is almost 2 full wagons worth of grass, and the field size was actually fairly big, too. So between fields 2 and 3, it was about, what's that, 3 wagons full of grass, and field 18 by itself was 2, I think, with giving some to the sheep. I don't know. It certainly felt like it should be more than that, but probably messed something else up. Is that all done? Maybe. I think we're done. Alright, something I did learn is we should plow up all these fields and then go back and plant grass on them. And the reason is because then we could actually fertilize them and get them an even higher yield. I think that is probably part of our problem, where we do have a lot of these grass fields, but the yield is so stinking low, we haven't fertilized them, so we should probably look at doing that. And that's something else. I'm not sure if you can use liquid fertilizer, or you have to use dry, or if you can use both. I'm not sure if you can you weed the grass? I don't know. I really have no idea. I have seen slurry injectors, so I'm not sure if you could spread slurry on grass to help it grow. I'm not sure. Those are all good questions that hopefully someone will answer for me, based on real life, but also what the heck to do in the game. Alright, so let's jump in here. And I think off screen I will actually compact this. I don't think I'll, I did just get done saying, oops, no, I'm actually stops when you get out the end of the pit. I did just get done saying I don't like doing stuff off screen, and I won't cut it out, but I do think that driving back and forth will be quite boring. Wait a minute. It just changed the rain, didn't it? It's getting foggy. We're gonna rain. Oh my goodness. Was that rainy up there earlier? I'm gonna have to look at that when I'm editing, because I think that's a bit unexpected. That's interesting. We're gonna rain. It's gonna rain. Well, I guess good thing we got the grass all picked up. Alright, that is good and clean now. We will put this away because we're not going to need it when we go to... Actually, should I just throw it in there? Let's throw it in there. We're not going to need it when I go to bale hay, because it'll be baled. It will not be in this form. Alright, there we go. That's a decent back job. I think I always mess that up. So quick to jump back in a tractor. And let's go grab the mower, because that's what we're going to set up to do next, I believe. Because the corn's not germinated, so we can't weed. We can't really do anything else in the field. I think the next thing would be mowing. And I'm not sure at this rate. You know what? Actually, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sell some animals. because this is way too... This is way too hard for the amount of... Okay, what animals are we going to sell? We're going to take this to the store and sell it and buy the other trailer like I said I was going to do. But I think we will probably figure that out in another episode. We'll probably sell some pigs. That's probably what we'll do. Anyway, I think that just about concludes it for this episode. We'll figure that stuff out when we come back on the next day. So until then, thanks for watching. Be sure to give me a thumb if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye. You know, just while I was talking, I just wanted to show this. Stupid weather, man. I can't believe it. I do not think it showed. I think this is a random thing. That's actually a good way to leave it, I think, with that pristine, picturesque view. So, again, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.